Apple last year announced that some of their products will become repairable in order to comply with the right to repair law. Well, it seems that they are breaking that promise with the new Apple Mac Studio. Hi, welcome to Zgadgetreview. Apple recently unveiled their Mac Studio. It's supposed to be this super duper powerful device. Along with that device, separately as a different separate purchase, you can purchase their Studio display, technically a monitor. Let's start with right to repair. Right to repair is a law that says that manufacturers are supposed to provide parts for consumers to be able to attempt to repair their own devices. Well, Apple last year announced with a lot of fanfare that they were going to make it easier for people to repair their own devices. A huge turnaround from Apple, from having a history of making the devices unrepairable. And there are tons of videos on YouTube from different people showing how hard it was to make a simple repair on a device, forcing you a lot of times to buy a brand new device from Apple, a lot of times with a very, very small discount, if any. That was supposed to continue with the Mac Studio. The Mac Studio, as I said earlier, is a powerful computer that I will say is aimed mainly to the creative industry, people who work in movies, music. I will say that's who the main target is for this device. And of course, people thinking that, hey, maybe you can upgrade certain things inside the device, went ahead and opened the device to see how repairable it is and how upgradable it might be. This brings us to Luke Miani. Luke Miani has his own YouTube channel. In this channel, he decided to play around with the Mac Studio and try to see if they're upgradable or how easy to repair they are. The videos that I'm going to be referencing, I will include in the description section in case you want to watch them in their entirety. So in his video, he realizes that the Mac Studio looks to be upgradable when it comes to SSD storage. At first, he tries to swap the SSDs by moving the SSD from one port to the other. As you can see here, he notices that there's one port that is occupied by the SSD and one that's open. The theory is that the open SSD is there for the Macs that have higher storage. So if you had a 4 or 8 terabyte Mac, then that's where you will put the extra storage. So he tries to move the storage from one place to the other. And that doesn't work. The Mac won't start at all. So then he decides to swap the storage from one Mac to the other. Keep in mind that all he's doing is removing one SSD from one Mac and putting it on the other Mac. So these are literally the same things. And that doesn't work either. On his first video, he comes to the conclusion that, hey, even though it looks like you can upgrade the SSD on these machines, you just cannot. And, again, here's Apple doing all this stuff about, hey, we are going to let you repair your stuff, but clearly saying, hey, you cannot repair your stuff because we're not going to let you. Well, he did a follow-up video in which what he finds out is that these aren't SSD storage, but they are NAND modules. And this is thanks to a Twitter thread by Hector Martin, where he explains why his initial experiment of swapping the so-called SSDs doesn't work. There is a workaround to fixing the issue of upgrading the storage on the device. And that technically is a complete wipe of the Mac using a method that you can find in Apple's help page. But there is a big but to that. It doesn't actually allow you to upgrade the storage in the device, because iFixit actually was able to swap to swap the modules between two different Mac studios, which is what Luke tried to do originally in one of his experiments. And the way they were able to do it is because they were able to use the exact same module that was in a different Mac into a new Mac. By doing a full DFU restore, then they were able to bring back the Mac to life. But this still leaves you in the same spot where that means that you cannot upgrade anything on it. All you could do is get a hold of another Mac, or hopefully a NAND storage NAND module, and put it into a non-working Mac and follow the process and bring it to life. But that does not fix, that does not upgrade your computer. And the reason is because when your computer is given to you, the information, not the information, the hardware inside that Mac gets attached to the Mac and the software and everything else that's in there. So if you take out a module out of it and put a different module, even if it's an Apple module from another computer, it isn't going to work, because when the software tries to pair the information from that module with what they're supposed to find, the computer is going to say, hold on, this isn't the module that we're supposed to have in this computer. This, again, in a kind of roundabout way, brings us back to the fact that Apple won't allow you to repair your own device unless you take it back to them and get the parts from them. So you cannot upgrade this machine without using Apple parts. As I always say, it is a business. I know they're in the business of making money, but even if you're in the business of making money, you can cut some slack to your users. Because if you want high storage on one of these things, it's gonna cost you. So as you can see here, the package that is $39.99, so $4,000, gives you 1 terabyte of storage. And if you're doing the type of work that you're supposed to be doing on those computers, 1 terabyte of storage is nothing. You need to be comfortable at least 4 terabytes of storage to be, okay. And that, as you can see here, is an extra $1,000. So we're talking about a $5,000 device here once you add the 4 terabytes of storage. You want to double that? Well, that is only going to cost you $2,200 extra on top of the $39.99. $39.99 is the base price. Let's move on to the monitor that they're selling, the so-called Studio Display. The Studio Display is a $1,600 monitor that costs $1,600, one, because it's made by Apple, two, also because it includes an A13 Bionic chip. What is this chip going to do? Well, the chip is going to power the 12 megapixel camera that is going to also include center stage for those video calls that you need to make. It is also going to include speakers that are supposed to give you great sound. Apple has the brilliant idea of including the monitor with a cable that comes attached to it. It's not a detachable cable. And there is no way of removing that cable unless you yank it from the device and literally break it. The other thing is that stand that comes attached to that monitor, you cannot remove it yourself. It comes put together in the assembly line when you choose the option that you want to choose when you're making your purchase. So for example, you decide to buy the device with the regular stand, right? The stand that comes with it, that is just a stand that tilts. It does not move up and down, it just tilts. Let's say that later you want to mount this thing on the wall. So you're thinking, hey, I'll just remove the stand. No, you cannot do that. So as you can see here, there is a little message that appears on the top that says that change affects your delivery and pickup options. As you can see here, having the tilt stand or the regular stand, or having the VESA mount adapter doesn't cost anything extra. Now, if you want to get a not only tilt but also adjustable stand, well, that is going to cost you an extra $400. And again, this is a stand that they are going to install before sending it to you. So this is another issue with this monitor, that you are stuck with whatever choice you make. And you're paying a lot of money for a monitor that, one, can have the core ripped out of it, and two, a stand that you are stuck with. You can get a much better monitor for the same amount of money or even less money with an adjustable height and whatever type of base that you want on, or stand that you want on it. So that is my rant about what Apple has done again. And I'm sure there's going to be others, because I don't see Apple changing their ways. They know they can get away with it because there's a lot of people who are going to spend the money on their devices, no matter what the hell they do or in which ways they screw you, the consumer who's paying money for their devices. So not to say that every company is great and amazing, but I do have huge issues with Apple, just like I have issues with Samsung and their lack of Dolby Vision on their TVs, until they make the changes that they should be making, because you're paying a lot of money for something in which the manufacturer is deciding what you can and cannot do in 2022. That needs to stop. What do you think about this Mac Studio whole repair controversy? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Are you glad that this is what they're doing? Are you an Apple person who goes, hey, it is Apple, if you want it, you want it, if you don't, you don't, and you make your choice? And what do you think about the Apple Studio Display, aka a monitor? Do you think that they should have made better choices when it comes to the way this thing is being made, where they give you the choices of taking off the stand if you want to or not? And I understand having extra costs for the height adjustable stand, fine, but $400? Hell no. That is it for me. Go ahead and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Go ahead and hit that bell so you can be alerted every time we have new videos. Thank you very much for watching.